Hello, everyone. Psoriasis management in Ayurveda is the topic of discussion today. Presenting this topic, we have Dr. Ravi Ganesh Mogra, who's MD in Ayurveda. Dr. Ravi Ganesh is a very well known Ayurvedic physician and professor practicing and teaching Ayurveda for the last 17 years. He is currently principal and chief medical officer of Sharda Ayurvedic Medical College
Mm,
and Hospital in
mm.
India. I am Amita from Nourish Doc, a platform for natural and holistic therapies. I would like to welcome Dr. Ravi Ganesh, who is an award winning Ayurveda doctor from India now. Welcome, Dr. Ravi Ganesh.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes,
Uh,
good
so
morning
today,
here and good evening to you.
yeah, it's a good evening here in India. So today, straight away coming to the topic, today we'll be discussing regarding psoriasis. So psoriasis is a very common disease found all over the world. So as per modern medication, the treatment of psoriasis is very difficult because they say there is no medicine for psoriasis. There is no cure for psoriasis. But Ayurveda says there is cure for psoriasis. If you treat properly with a proper physician who knows a depth knowledge in Ayurveda, definitely he can treat psoriasis in a efficient manner. So psoriasis is one of the most common dermatological disease affecting up to 2.5% of world population. So So, uh, the characteristic features. So, well demarcated red, and the surface is often thrown up into large silvery scales. Plaques vary enormously in size and shape. So, let me just give an idea what is psoriasis about. So, next slide. So, so the cardinal symptoms of psoriasis. So here, the first sign is symptom is dry and well-defined macules, papules, or plaques of erythema with layer of silvery scale. So erythema means reddish base. On the reddish base, there will be silvery scales. There will be silvery scales over the skin. So that is what is about the first symptom. That is, it is dry and well-defined macules. Macules means the skin lesion over the skin, and papules, maybe some eruptions or some plaques of erythema, some reddish discoloration, that is what we can say, along with a layer of silvery scale. Then we have next symptom, raised lesions without any indurations. So it's a raised lesions without any indurations. Then next, it is a next sign is candle grease sign. So if see a lesion is scratched, a candle grease like scale is repeatedly produced. So when you scratch a candle, you can see a line when you scratch a candle with your nail or anything. So you can see a line. So same way when you scratch a skin lesion of psoriasis, you can see usually you can see a candle grease sign appearance, which is a typical symptom of psoriasis. And next symptom is auspit sign. So complete removal of scale produces pinpoint bleeding. So you can see a lot of pinpoint bleeding points when you remove the superficial scale, that is that silvery scale. When you remove it, you can see on the skin, you can see some pinpoint bleeding points, which is called as auspit sign. Then you have a more the person will have a moderate to severe itching. So itching may be moderate or severe. It depends on person to person. Then last symptom, one more called as Cobnus phenomenon. So here lesion develop along with the scratch lines. So wherever the patient scratches, you can and the patient will have skin lesions over those parts. Then this is auspit sign. So where over the skin you can see some bleeding points, some reddish dots, that is bleeding points, which is called as auspit sign. Then age of onset. So early onset is 16 to 12 years and late onset is 55 to 60 years. So it is one in early age, you can see around 16 to 22 age, where where usually the person may be studying some professional courses, or he may be in a higher secondary schools. So there usually they get because of stress, that is maybe due to the stress or due by having a improper diet. So these may be the reasons. And late onset also usually around 55 to 60 age, there also we can see often this case of the psoriasis cases. Then the types of psoriasis. There are four types of psoriasis are there. First one is plaque psoriasis. Second one is guttate psoriasis. Third one is localized pustular psoriasis. Fourth one is erythrodermatic psoriasis. So there are four types of psoriasis. Then now we'll see what is plaque psoriasis, which is very common in nature out of four. So lesions are well demarcated and range from a few millimeters to several centimeters in diameter. So from millimeters, small to centimeters, several centimeters in diameter. The lesions are pink or red with large, dry, silvery white scales. So you can see pink scale or even a pink skin or red skin with large, dry, silvery white scales. So above the skin, you can see some large, dry, silvery white scales. So this is an example for the photo of plaque psoriasis, which is very common in nature. Then coming to guttate psoriasis. So here, numerous small round red macules come suddenly on the trunk and soon become scaly. Rashes often clears in few months, but plaque psoriasis may develop later. So guttate psoriasis is a where you can see small rounded macules. So these are the small rounded macules all over the body. Later, this may develop into plaque psoriasis. Next, coming to localized pustular psoriasis. As the name says, pustular, there will be pus formation. So it is localized, not generalized, not all over the body. In some part of the body, you can see this. So it is often a painful condition which usually affects the palms and soles, usually palms and soles, which studded with numerous sterile pustules. You can see some sterile pustules 3 to 10 in diameter, lying on an erythematous base. So on erythematous base, on a reddish base, you can see the pustular formations in localized pustular psoriasis. This is how it looks, usually local area, maybe the lower limb or in the palm or foot. So this is this is a very painful condition. Then coming to the last one is erythrodermatic psoriasis. So in this condition, the skin becomes universally and uniformly red with variable scaling. So here in erythrodermatic psoriasis, it will spread all over the body universally and uniformly red with variable scaling. So malaise is accompanied by shivering. So the person will have severe body ache along with the shivering, and skin feels hot and uncomfortable. The person will feel very hot. The skin feels very hot and uncomfortable. Then this is what is about erythrodermatic psoriasis. If this develops in the body, it's a really tough situation to cure, because the patient will suffer a lot with if he goes with the erythrodermatic psoriasis. Then affected sites. So commonly involved sites are scalp, upper back, sacral region, extensor surface of extremities, especially the knees and elbows. In about 25% cases, peculiar pitting of nails is seen. So you can see pitting of nails, and psoriatic arthritis resembling rheumatoid arthritis is produced in about 5% of cases. So psoriatic arthritis is a one type of arthritis which is also seen in psoriasis condition in 5% of cases. So involvement of the nail with the thimble, pitting or ankylosis is also common. So you can see the loosening of the nail from the nail bed and pitting also can be seen as it is shown in the picture. This is one more picture of psoriasis where the scalp, the face region is affected. This is nothing but erythrodermatic psoriasis, and different parts, the knee joint, the elbow, the buttock region, the back, the nail. So these are the different parts where the psoriasis got affected. Then an Ayurvedic view. So plague type of psoriasis. The major type of psoriasis is plague type of psoriasis. So plague type of psoriasis most common, can be considered under Sidma Kushta. So in Ayurveda, different skin diseases have been told. So out of that, the Sidma Kushta, which resembles the symptoms match with the plague psoriasis. So it can be compared with that. So Sigma Kushta, it says white and coppery in color as per our classics, and is thin when rubbed. It emits particles of skin in the form of dust. So usually in psoriasis, when the patient gets up from bed, you can see dusting of skin. So it's a powdering of skin. So you can see skin powders over the bed. So that is one typical sign of psoriasis. So this also has been told in Ayurveda, and it resembles the flower of alabu. So it resembles a white flower of alabu, that is bottle gourd. So bottle gourd flower looks whitish in nature. So this is what he says, silvery scales. So that is what in said in Ayurveda. Generally localized on the upper parts of the body. So that's what he said in Ayurveda. Usually it is seen in the upper parts of the body. Then the treatment concept. So the toxins, we call it as dushta doshas, are more in quantity to be removed through oral route or anal route. So the Ayurvedic concept is, as the strength of the patient is less, especially in the psoriasis because of the chronic illness, and due to this, as well as the toxins in the body will be collected in a huge quantity, which has to be removed by day repeatedly. The psoriasis cannot be treated in few days. It needs few months. So the repeated medicines, repeated detoxification procedures, that is what they say. I have written oral route or anal route. So the toxins to be removed either through oral route as a emesis therapy or through anal route as a purgation therapy. Means we give medication for to induce vomiting or to induce loose motion. So this is what we do, especially to remove the toxins from the body. So this is called as it's a one basic. It's called as panchakarma therapy. So this panchakarma is called as shodhana therapy. That is detoxification procedure in Ayurveda, which is very good to remove the toxins from the body. Not only in psoriasis case, even in other skin diseases or even in allergic conditions, this type of uh, detoxification procedure will help the patient. Then repeated detoxification to be done once in 15 days or month. So as per Ayurveda, they say, pakshe chomanam, mase cha virechanam. So every 15 days once you need to have a emesis therapy. Every month, once in a month, you need to have a patient of psoriasis, need to have a purgation therapy. Or this is what even bloodletting therapy every once in 6 months. So that's the concept shows that a repeated treatment to be done to remove the toxins from the body. Then only, otherwise there will be collection of toxins once you remove the toxins from the body. So this has to be repeated for a few times. Then only this will stop. The symptoms will stop. Even the itching will stop. The fresh skin, the patient will have good skin. The skin color will become normal. But this detoxification to be continued, and maybe for 6 months, once in a month or once in 2 months, like this, as per the severity of the case. Once in a year, every year, the patient need to get admitted. He need to get detoxified, and then maybe after 2 to 3 years, then the patient will have a lot of relief. It may not repeat. So the treatment, two types of treatments are there. That is Shodhana, that is detoxification, that is major Panchakarma therapy. So main therapy, as I said, it is emesis therapy and purgation therapy. That is, one is vomiting therapy, inducing vomiting, as well as one more is inducing loose motion. So this is what the Ayurveda has a natural herbs to induce these uh, therapies and these actions. So then internal medication is also very important, which is called as shamana. So to uh, reduce the symptoms, to as when you give the internal medications, the symptoms will diminish. So various herbal preparations like kashaya, we prepare kashayas in Ayurveda, which is called as decoction, and we prepare tablets, and we have powders in our this one. We have some other liquid or syrups. Different types of medications are there in Ayurveda, which is very effective in skin diseases, which we use in psoriasis. Then Ayurvedic medicines, like basically the medicines which we use will be having this ingredients. I have listed few ingredients. There are a lot of ingredients are there. So basically, as a which will help in skin diseases, especially in psoriasis, one is Nimba, that is Azadirachta indica, and we have one more drug called Argoda, which is very effective in psoriasis. So it is Cassia fistula, and Yeshtimadu is one more drug which is called as Glycyrrhiza glabra, and Eleuteria cardamom. This is Ela, which is Indian spices which we use here, and Manjishta, which is one more blood purifier, which is called as Rubia cardifolia, and Picrosia Kura, that is Katukurohini, one more herb which we usually use. There are a lot of medicines, but I have listed only few, which are the major medicines which we use in different combinations of Ayurveda preparations. Next, we use medicated oil for external application when the patient says about itching, or if there is some cracks over that skin lesions, dryness, then we give oil to reduce itching, as well as that which gives moistureness to the skin, that is provided by medicated oil. So medicated oil, usually the base will be either tila taila, that is tila, that is sesame oil, or even we use coconut oil as a base. And medicated ghee are used internally. So we prepare medicated ghee. So medicated ghee is very good by adding herbs, by processing the ghee with the medicines, medicine herbs, which is very effective in skin disease. The above drugs, whatever I told, usually those drugs will be there here, and it is given internally in a high dose or even a small dose, depend on the severity. And patient is admitted in the hospital usually. So admission is must when the patient suffers from psoriasis for longer duration. So admission is must in hospital. So usually on the basis severity, we admit the patient for 7, 14, 21 days of treatment, followed by oral medications. So even oral medications are also followed. But initially we admit the patient and we do detoxification procedures. Then next, so now we'll study a few cases which I have treated in past years. So the case one, so I had a patient, a male patient, age 56 years, who was working as a BD collection worker. So he was collecting BD. So like cigarette, you have a BD in India. So he was a collection worker. So he had scaly skin lesions since 15 years associated with severe itching. So since 15 years, he was suffering and with the severe itching all over the body. So patient was apparently normal before 15 years, then noticed small lesion over left leg and it got cured. So he had small lesion over left leg and it got cured. Similar lesions appeared after 4 months and he never got any satisfactory result thereafter. And he was a case of hypertension since 3 years, and there was no family history. And my diagnosis was psoriasis, which is called Sigma Kushta. And next, we gave uh, we gave the treatment by admitting the patient. So from day 1 to day 5, we gave Snehapana, that is, we give medicated ghee that is called as Tiktaga Grita. So this is a medicine which we give in the early morning. Usually we give around 7 to 8 o'clock. We usually give. We start with 30 ml of this ghee in empty stomach without giving any medicine, any food or any other medicine. We give only this ghee. There is no other medicines given. So this ghee is nothing but fat. So it is given for 30 ml. And by seeing the digestion capacity, then we give, once the patient gets good hunger, then we give him a rice gruel. So that is given later when the patient gets hunger. So we start with 30 ml. Along with, the patient should keep drinking hot water, or even dry ginger hot water also given to the patient to drink, to have a to digest this ghee, which is heavy to digest, as it is a grita, which is fat in nature. And except fat and carbohydrate, that is gruel, we don't give any proteins or anything. So even when we increase the dose, the patient will take more and more time. Even though we give this ghee at 7 o'clock in the morning, he may digest by 10 o'clock or 11, or sometimes even in the afternoon 3 o'clock. But he should keep sipping hot water, and he should not sleep during this procedure. So we did this with 30 ml, 90 ml, 120 ml, and till 200 ml we increased till 5 days. So last 2 days we gave 200 ml. So patient usually they find a bit difficult, because without any food they have to take this much ghee, which is not a habit for them. And their skin has to become very oily. Their motion, their feces will have a loose nature, and it will be very soft or oily. And from the body only you'll get start smelling the smell of the ghee. Even the lower eyelid, or lower eyelid also, there you can feel the oiliness of the skin in patient. And then after this, we went 3 days, sixth, seventh, eighth day, we went for a massage along with Nadi Surya, that is a steam therapy, to bring all the toxins to the main stream. And we did massage with Dantapala Taila, that is, Dantapala is a one special herb. The botanical name is Wrightia tinctora, which is a very, very effective medicine in oil, in skin disease, especially in psoriasis. Even this oil we use in dandruff, and it's very effective. And day 8 we gave Virechana. Virechana is nothing but purgation therapy. Purgation therapy means giving medicines for loose motion in the early morning around 7 o'clock, without any food, without any juices. We give this medicine, and the patient is made to drink more and more hot water, little by little hot water, till he get good motions. So usually the patient pass 5 to 10 times loose motion will be there, or 15 times, or 20 times sometimes. It depends on the dose and the patient's constitution. So we gave Trivurt Leha 30 gram with hot water, and later the patient should not sleep till he gets a good motion, and till afternoon he should not sleep. And remember, in Ayurveda, Divaswapna, that is day sleep is to be avoided. And internal medications continued, and results, of course, he had significant results. The patient reports 80% reduction in symptoms, not immediately after this procedure. After 15 days of internal medications, the patient started getting good result. And finally, after 1 month, the patient had 80% of result. And next, coming to case number 2. So a male patient, aged 41 years, complains of reddish white circular skin lesion with scaling and mild itching over scalp, both lower limbs, both upper limbs, and on back since 5 to 6 years. So here patient was apparently normal before 5 to 6 years, then gradually developed reddish white circular skin lesions with scaling all over the body. Also complaints of gas trouble and indigestion. and there is no history of diabetes mellitus or hypertension, and diagnosis was psoriasis. Then we started, yes, next slide. So we started with day 1 to day 3. We started with takradara. Takradara is a medicated buttermilk which we prepare with a lot of medicines by adding the medicine called musta, the amlaki, gooseberry, even the takra, that is buttermilk. And this takradara will help the body to dry up more, and then we go for the oil therapy, that is called a snehapana. Again, the giving ghee in a larger dose, but here the medicine was different. The Guggulu Tikta, one of the very effective medicine in Ayurveda for psoriasis, which we used, that is Guggulu Tikta for fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 4 days. With the different dose, we started increasing. As I said earlier, we started with 30 ml, maybe then 60, 90, 120, like this. Usually we increase as per the digestion capacity of that particular person. And on day 8 and 9, we gave Abhyanganadiswara, that is oil massage with the steam therapy, and we used Brihad Dantapala Taila, that is Wrightia tinctora. The same oil was used here, but it was Brihad Dantapala Taila. And day 9, we gave Vamana with Madanaphala. So Vamana, that is emesis therapy, was done with the Madanaphala drug. And internal medications were continued later, and then the result we found around 60 to 70% improvement in the particular patient. But only the issue is, even though you may get some 50% result or 40% result initially, but you need to repeat this procedure once in 2 months, once in 3 months. So like this, the patient should keep repeating the procedure. Then if he does it for about a year, then maybe after, if with some more duration, maybe once in 3 months or once in 6 months, if the patient repeats in the second year or third year, then there are very less chance of getting it back. So then the patient may not get it back. So this was the patient where we had a before and after results, and you can see the before and after results, where the changes we can see in the patient. And then going to the next slide. So this was the Vamana therapy I did to the same patient. So it is done very early morning, usually 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock in the morning, we did this emesis therapy. We give a lot of milk in the morning for the patient to drink more than 1 to 2 liters of milk. Then the medicines is given. So all the medicine along with the milk, everything will be omitted after within 45 minutes of duration. And we use different medications to induce vomiting here. And till there is pittanta, that is means that till the bile comes. The bile means pitta means here bile. Till he has soreness in the mouth, or if you see yellowishness of that omitus, if it contains yellowishness, or if you see some if the patient start telling he had a soreness in the mouth, that says that there is a pittanta, that is the bile has come out. The unwanted bile which is there secreted in the stomach, everything will come out along with this medicine. This is called as Vamana therapy. Then case 3. So here also a male patient, a young patient aged 23 years, scaly skin lesion over scalp since 8 months with itching. So he had just a 8 months history, and also he complained of skin lesions over back since 1 month. And patient was apparently normal, and then gradually developed dandruff over scalp since 8 months, and which gradually developed to itching scaly lesions. The diagnosis was psoriasis. And here the day 1 and day 2, we did takradara, that is buttermilk dhara. Buttermilk is used as a pouring over the body as a dhara in a single stream. It is used as a, which is called, we call it as dhara, which is the buttermilk is used here. And the medicine musta and gooseberry, amalaki gooseberry is used, Indian gooseberry is used. And 3 to 6 days, we usually gave snehapana to this patient. Again, this patient got admitted in the hospital. And 3 to 6 days we gave Mahatikta Gavita. The Grita was different, the ghee was different here, and 30 ml, 80 ml, 150 and 150 ml. The 4 days we gave with this dose, and days 7 we did Abhyanga Nadiswada as a same procedure. All the toxins will be brought into the main channels of the body, especially the stomach, and then it is removed on the next day. So here Dhanvantra Taila, the oil used for massage was Dhanvantra Taila, and day 8 we did emesis therapy with Madanaphala, and internal medications continued, and results was 80% improvement in symptoms and reduction in lesions were noticed later. So these are the case 3. So definitely Ayurveda has a better treatment. So we need to proper follow a proper diet rules. Diet is very important in Ayurveda. That is pathya. There are a lot of food which are not good to the body. Maybe the white flour, that is maida, or some fermented items which is not at all good to the body. Even junk foods, if the patients are using more junk foods, then then that is also not a good habits. And even Ayurveda says if a patient has curd in the night, or excess of curd, or milk products, that also excess of milk products, taking excess of sweet items, or taking excess of sour items, taking excess of salt items, so may lead to some skin lesions like psoriasis, which is to be avoided. Not stress is one of the major factors. Not only stress, the food habit of the patient person is very very important. Ayurveda says you should not take milk and fish together. So whenever in an Indian custom, whenever they prepare fish a dish from fish, usually they don't give milk. So they don't mix up both, because one day if you take it, nothing is going to happen. If a patient takes for longer duration, it may lead to skin diseases. So that is one of the reason. And not only that, a person coming from outside by sweating, immediately taking a shower with cold water is not good, or having cold water immediately after coming from a walking, or maybe by jogging, immediately after coming home, taking cold water or fridge water is also not advised. So these type of habits may lead to skin disease. Maybe even using excess of air condition nowadays, that also may lead to some skin diseases, even in neurological conditions. There is no doubt in that. Then so this is the presentation.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
hope everybody understood. So I was a bit slow so that everybody understand it properly, because the subject is new, and Ayurveda is a Indian system of medicine which is there since 5,000 centuries, 5,000 years, and it has been practiced in India, maybe so many parts of world before the modern medicine entered India. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent, Dr. Ravignesh. If anyone has a question, you're welcome to put it in the chat window. So one of the things that you mentioned about, the food, I mean, there are a couple of things that you mentioned that could cause, I wanted to understand or clarity for root cause, right? Because that's what Ayurveda is trying to understand, the root cause. So you talked about the incompatible diet as an example. For example, you said sour food and taking fish with milk, or some of the other food items. So wrong food items with the stress that you said. So these two combination, if someone does it also mean sedentary lifestyle that would contribute to some kind of a skin condition, or just the wrong kind of food habits and the stress element, and then there's some kind of an eruption that is happening, and that happens on the skin part of it, right? That's kind of what you were saying in the end.
Yes, 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 yes. See, the diet is a very, very important factor. So
Yeah,
if there is an improper diet is a major cause. If the person avoids, some people get skin lesion by taking prawns.
I see.
So that fish is not good to his
Yeah,
body. It may not happen in every person. Some person may have this. So if a person takes more oily item or
Yeah.
more sour food, more salty food, so this may lead to skin lesion later. So there are
Yeah.
some fried chips which
Yeah.
are maybe once in a while. That's okay. There is no problem.
Yeah.
Taking even a finger chips, what we call, if you take it repeatedly, it may have some effect on body. Definitely, it will show. Even taking, I said, alternatively taking hot and cold items. It's not
Yeah.
allowed in Ayurveda. Even taking a heavy meal, maybe a pizza or anything, and having cold water or a cold juice is also, as per Ayurveda, it is not allowed, because you need to have at least normal water or a warm water or a hot water when you have food. Yeah, it should not be freezing cold. So that type of water should not be used when you have items like rice or roti or a pizza, whatever. So usually it is not good. The person may like it when you take it, but it's not good for the body. What we like, what our tongue likes, what our taste bud likes, it may not
Yeah.
be good for our body, because
Yeah.
we are spoiling our total organs. There are a lot of organs in the body which are which is sacrificed for the sake of taste buds. So that is what always I feel. If you don't have a taste bud, definitely you don't have tasted this much many foods, because we are very particular. Maybe about if it is this, if the salt is less, it's not spicy. Still, all these factors plays a major role. Even in Ayurveda, that not only the thing I said, the shower, taking a cold shower immediately,
Yeah.
that's a very bad habit. So it's not good. And taking a lot of fermented items, especially in India, we prepare idli, dosa, these type of items. Maybe even the batter which we prepare for the pizza, so the batter what we prepare, it may not be good because we use more maida. That is also not good.
Yeah.
Definitely not. So these things to be avoided. Even black gram. In India, we use black gram. Black
Yeah.
gram, it has a medicinal quality, of course. But when you take it as a fermented item, when you prepare a fermented item with that, definitely once in a while it is good. But some people eat it very oftenly. They take these foods, so it may lead to some skin diseases. Even I said fish, even milk products too, some extent. Some people get allergy by taking curd. Excess of
Yeah.
curd is also not good. Taking curd is good. Curd has a medicinal effect. It's good for the body. It's needed. But maybe usually in the afternoon we can take with lunch, but not in the night. Better to avoid curd in the night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
once in a while, nothing is going to happen. That
that's
we should remember.
what about nightshades vegetables? I was reading a research on, brinjals, eggplants, and some of them, they were talking about that, those, what they call them as nightshades vegetables are also not very good for
Yes,
psoriasis.
yes, yes.
And
Brinjal is definitely, brinjal is not good, because brinjal usually, not only psoriasis, especially as a physician, I don't have to tell our patients, because a lot of patients know if they have a skin disease, they usually avoid brinjal.
I
That's
see.
there. That's there. It's better to be avoided.
Okay. Okay. Any other vegetables to be avoided if for skin, I mean, just to make sure to curtail skin diseases instead of, in addition to brinjal, anything else that you tell your patients on the vegetables to avoid part of it?
So radish, we don't tell the
I
patient to.
see.
We tell the patient to avoid radish. Even
Okay.
cabbage,
Yeah.
cabbage. Also, we don't. We tell the patient to avoid cauliflower. We tell the patient to avoid, and um, other vegetables, leafy vegetables. It's okay, no issues. There is no problem.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Well, thank you so much. We are going to be launching some wellness programs next year that would be mainly based on prevention. So psoriasis is definitely one of the topics because it is so dependent on, like Dr. Ravi Ganesh said, on your diet and also on your stress. Once, so one more question, last question is, once a person has gone through the detoxification, the panchkarma therapies that you talked about, for different days, and it takes about a couple of months for a person to actually start feeling the healing process, starting with the 15 days, then after that they still have to maintain a strict diet regimen, as you're talking about, right?
Yes.
And you also recommend that they have to come to do some kind of a panchkarma therapies to make sure that the remission doesn't happen of that particular skin issues.
Ayurveda, basic concept of Ayurveda is Nidana Parivarjana. Nidana means cause. So Parivarjana means avoiding. So
Yeah,
avoiding the cause. Avoiding the cause is the first line of treatment. So always we
correct.
should know what is the cause. A patient will come to know about his food habits. Sometimes some of the things he may not be knowing, but at
Yeah,
least some of the food he will come to know, okay, by taking this food, I am getting this. So I should avoid it. So that is
yeah,
very important. As a Vaidya also, he should ask, as a physician, we
yeah,
should ask the patient what food he is taking, what is his
correct.
food habit. So some patients even taking a bath immediately after food is not a good sign. Some people have a habit, usually in the dinner, immediately after dinner they go for bath. So that's not good. This is not a good habit. So it
Okay.
will there will be improper digestion. Digestion may not happen properly. So this when this becomes a routine. So these routines, which are the wrong routines, to be stopped. So that is
Yeah,
what the cause. So we need to avoid the causative factor. So that's
correct.
very important. Uh, these foods, everything I said, maybe when the patient takes for a longer duration, they suffer from this. For example, I'll tell one. We had one kid,
Yes.
aged around 8. That kid used to have at least 4 to 5 packets of chips,
Yeah.
potato chips. So it is nowadays you get a lot of salty type of chips which are
Hmm.
available in market. So that kid was reluctant to take that. So the parents used to give. So sorry, the parents there was they could not avoid it. So the
Yeah.
parents used to give that kid, and
Yeah.
ultimately with the at the age of 7 or 8, the baby developed that kid developed skin lesion all over the body.
Yeah.
Why? Because of this. And that kid was not taking any food, so it was
Yeah.
depending on this. Definitely
Yeah.
it is happens.
Yeah.
Even some extent, even I say the carbonated water,
I
different
say. Yeah.
soft drinks, that also will have some negative effect on the body.
Correct. 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 Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Ravi Ganesh, for being with us. Last time I know we had some technical issues. Today we went through the entire session without any hitches. So that's amazing. That's great. Your knowledge is, you have so much knowledge. So we want to bring his knowledge more. Stay tuned for next year. We will be bringing some really exciting programs to you. With that, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Ravi Ganesh, for being with us.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
thank you so much, and help us share these sessions. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you.